Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is a video where I go over a bit the campaign games I'm getting rid of. Around a week or two ago, up on the channel, a video went up on the channel. That seems like the wrong. Around a week or two ago, a video went up on the channel. That's the way you say it. Around a week or two ago, a video went up on the channel covering me going over 40 or so campaign games, campaign and legacy, and or just scenario that are campaign adjacent games, and trying to find at least 10 of them to get rid of. And I did. You can watch that video if you want to see me agonize for 40 minutes over those games and which ones I ultimately chose. Or you can watch this video where I have those 10 games and the original sheet of paper, as well as adding 5 more to the list. I've been playing a bunch of games, I've chosen a few games, I'm up to 15 of these games I'm getting rid of, so we have those 10, plus another 5, some of which you can see on the table. I've changed my mind, I've had time to sleep on it and realize the decisions I should be making, and here we are. I don't know how I'm going to make this video work as far as table space, because I have a lot of games all around me, and I don't know how I'm going to get it all in frame, but we'll figure it out. But this is a bit of a recap and a bit of an addition over each of these games. Timestamps as usual down below, but the general goal is that I have too many campaign games. And despite the fact that many of these games I want to play, I want to try, some of these games have to leave, even if I have not fully given it the opportunity that I should. I have to make choices. New games are always coming in, new regular games, new campaign games, new experiences are constantly tempting and calling for my attention, and at the end of the day, sometimes you have to make decisions around what stays and what goes, and that was the point of that video. This is just the recap and going over it and talking with the other 5. But starting off with Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven, and to that end, we have Jaws of the Lion here somewhere, but we'll go over it. Gloomhaven almost survived the last video. It made it down to the final wire. If you watch the last video, you get to the end, I finally make a bit of a pivot and a change. In the effort of saving something else, I say Gloomhaven's going to go. In fact, Gloomhaven and Crimson Scales, it's covered, we'll get to Crimson Scales shortly, because I realized that as much as I like those systems, as much as I enjoy them, Gloomhaven is a game I play primarily on Steam, and Crimson Scales is a game that I only really need the pieces for Gloomhaven for, and ultimately, if I ever do play it, I'll probably be playing it with Professor Meg, and so there's no real rush I can use her copy, and so Gloomhaven left. Make no mistake, I love this game. It was my number 3 of all time last year. It's going to be lower this year. I don't think it's going to break the top 10, but it's still going to be very, very high. This is a game I've spent over 100 hours on this year. I like it a lot, but ultimately decisions have to be made, and so Gloomhaven is leaving, well, now-ish. So this is number 1 over here. Also ignore the screaming child in the background. It's a Sunday. Anyways, that's going to be number 1. So Gloomhaven's going to go down over here, and we're going to go to the next one over here, which is a Ghosts Betwixt Us. This is one of the new ones on the list over here. This is another campaign game experience that gives you, despite the regular box size, there's a decent amount of content in this game. I should have full review coverage on this one as well. You can check that out, probably going up. In fact, there's a few games on this list that I'll have review coverage up that may or may not be going up before or after this video. I don't know. But Ghosts Betwixt Us is another campaign game experience, giving you kind of a Gloomhaven light experience. Think more Jaws of the Lion and less Gloomhaven, as you play as a family, a bunch of kids, some parents or whatnot. I think it's kids and parents, I could be wrong, as you're trying to figure out how to rescue your friend or sibling or something by wandering into the neighbor's house and dealing with all the bad things that come your way. You're going to be leveling up, you're going to be making selections and actions, and just it's campaignish as far as what it gives you. Ultimately, I played this one. I enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it nearly enough to hold on to, so another campaign game obligation is going away. Then we have one that I did talk about over here, which is going to be the Destinies series. Now, the Destinies series, and it's worth noting, I don't know my actual plans for getting rid of this stuff. Feel free, if you're looking to get any of this stuff, feel free to message me. I don't know. I may have gotten rid. I don't know what I'm doing yet, but just in case, feel free. Maybe I have stuff, maybe I don't. We'll see. But Destinies over here. Destiny is the full all-in for the Kickstarter. I enjoyed this game, but like I said in the other video, ultimately, while I very much enjoy Destinies, and this is I said this in the other video too, that this is the first time, I believe, since doing this channel, that a 5 out of 5 has left my collection. 5 out of 5s have left my collection in the past, just you don't necessarily know about them because they predate. You know, for instance, Cosmic Encounter is a good example. Cosmic Encounter is a game that once upon a time was a 5 out of 5 for me. And it left my collection, and then I got it back, and then left my collection again. Times have changed, and things don't always stay the same, and games that have been the epitome of what I could rank a game have left. But that said, since starting this channel in December of 2019, I think Destinies is the first 5 out of 5 that has actually gone from being a 5 out of 5 to leaving those are infrequent, and they should be infrequent. A game that I both love and goes away should be an infrequent occurrence. In the case of Destinies, is that other game systems came along and have drawn my attention more, but without utilizing an app. And as much as I enjoy Destinies, apps do take me a bit out of the experience. I think Destiny is fantastic, but I also am enjoying roleplay adventures, and I'm enjoying Skyrim, and I'm enjoying other games. Those are just two that come to mind. There's more behind me, but Skyrim's a good one. Skyrim in particular is very much giving me the same vibes as Destinies does, but without the app involvement, and that is a big deal. And Destinies, for all that I love the story and how it immerses you, those skill checks can at times be frustrating, and so it's a game where the rating has dropped for me. It's dropped down to a 4 for me, and with that, within the range of other games and campaign experiences, also ignore my voice. I think I'm not sick, but we'll find out. But Destinies is leaving. The all-in for this is going away, which brings us to the next one, which is another one that we already talked about, which is Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. This is an easy one. Even before I decided on Gloomhaven leaving, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion was easier because I was going to keep Gloomhaven to play with Crimson Scales before I realized I could just play Meg's copy if that ever is relevant. But Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion was never really a question. The main reason this exists is as a good intro to the Gloomhaven universe, and while it's very much fun in its own right, for myself this is one that I'd only really play if I was diving into it, I'd only really play it digitally for this, so that was an easy choice to get rid of. Tainted Grail on the space-wise, what am I doing? You know what? No, we're going to start with this one over here. The Everrain. The Everrain is another one with a bunch of boxes full of content, and this is one where I just have not heard enough good things that when I think of all the unplayed experiences and which ones will and won't stay, the Everrain makes a easier case as far as it leaving. See, the Everrain is from Grimlow Games, and I've seen a bunch of people who like the experience, a bunch of people who very much speak and vouch for how good of an experience is, but I've also seen a bunch of people who are very much more on the fence as far as whether it's worth your time, effort, and energy, and in a world in which I have a whole bunch of things calling my attention, and the Everrain to begin with was only ever a game I traded into. This is a game that I decided I didn't want to buy, but somebody offered me a trade for it, and I was like, you know what, let's go ahead and go for it. It looks cool, it looks compelling, and all that holds up. But again, choices have to be made between the 40-plus campaign games that I need to do. Like, I'm playing through Daenerys, I'm playing through Massive Darkness, I'm playing through Isofaring Guard and Daenerys Adventures, I think I said Daenerys already, and Frosthaven, and there's so much game content out there, both from the games I love and from the games I'm still exploring, that sometimes you have to make decisions, and the Everrain, despite the fact that I'd love to play it, is one of those decisions that is going away. This is one of those times where I need to figure out exactly how I'm configuring this. This will go off the table in a second, but boxes need to be managed, and so Seventh Continent and Maximum Apocalypse. These two game systems, Seventh Continent and Maximum Apocalypse, also did not survive the Purge. Maximum Apocalypse was a late game addition to the Purge just because I like it. It's a recent find for me. Rock Manor Games gives you a fun little light campaign experience, and I do enjoy the game, but again, I think that in comparison to other games calling my attention, Massive Darkness is significantly harder to set up and table. What's the most comparable game to Maximum Apocalypse I have in terms of how easy it is to table? That's an interesting question. I may not have one. You see, Maximum Apocalypse is a bit of a campaign game, post-apocalyptic universe. And one of the things that has going for it is it's really easy to get up and tabled. I don't know if I have another one that's as easy, but ultimately, while it is easy, it's also a little lighter and a little less my jam compared to some of these other games. I enjoy it, I recommend it, but when looking for campaign experiences to purge, it was an easier one to pick. Seventh Continent, on the other one, is not easy at all. Seventh Continent is it's going by necessity because of the games calling my attention. I like Seventh Continent, I like Seventh Citadel more, which is why I got rid of Seventh Continent, and I got Seventh Continent back because of how much I like Seventh Continent. Again, when I say I like games, I have another video going up in a few weeks, another video at some point, maybe next week, maybe a few weeks, I don't know, but it's a video called I Don't Learn. And the point of it is exactly that. Sometimes my love of games, my love of the hobby, does blur the lines of when I should or shouldn't hold on to something or get something back because I like the system. I like Seventh Continent. I think it's an excellent game, and the only reason I'm able to put it on this list of games getting rid of is because I know I have Seventh Citadel coming, which does it better. If I didn't have that almost direct equivalent, Seventh Continent would stay because no game really does the exploration like this as well as it does, and there's so much content, which is arguably part of the problem. Part of the problem is I have to differentiate between game systems that I really like and enjoy and game systems that I love, and Seventh Continent, because I have Seventh Citadel coming, when I think of whether I'd rather spend my time on Daenerys Adventures or on Massive Darkness or on Isofaring Guard or on Frosthaven. Those are the 4 currently. Oath 1-2. Oath 1-2. I mean, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting some of these games. They're all incredible, and they all do incredible things, but ultimately, 7th Continent is able to lose out only because of the direct replacements that those give. Moving on, let's try to stack these away off to the side. Moving on, we have another new one to the list. Let me just weigh these out. I'm going to destroy some boxes here. Another new one to the list over here is going to... table space. Let's move this over here, and let's grab this over here. Let's go ahead and deal with Altar Quest. Altar Quest and whatever box is below this. Why do I have Massive Darkness? Why do I have this here? I don't know why I have this here. I'm going to tuck this into the shelf and figure that out later. Altar Quest is a new one over here. This one, when I did the last video, I decided I wanted to hold on to Altar Quest. And then I played Altar Quest. And then I reviewed Altar Quest. And now I'm done with Altar Quest. You see, Altar Quest was compelling. And I liked the original Street Masters, and I heard enough good things about Altar Quest that I was pretty sure Altar Quest was a game system I would like. Until I finally sat down and tabled it, and I don't like it at all. Like, at all. I gave this a 2.5 out of 5. Although, to be fair, I think it's a good game. I'm ranking it based on my rating system, which 2.5, my desire to play, is less than neutral on this game. I would actively rather not play more Altar Quest. I found that it gives you the things that a lot of dungeon crawlers do, and what it does well, other dungeon crawlers do well, and what it does poorly, I'm just not invested in what's happening. Everything comes down to skill tests, and the rules are unclear, the reading of the cards is unclear. Even when you're engaging with simple skill tests on cards, the whole back and forth of the way you read things is just obnoxious, and it does not invest me in the characters. It feels so abstract in what it's doing, and it just feels like you're just rolling dice. And while you can say that about Massive Darkness feels like I'm attacking with a weapon rolling dice, and Altar Quest feels like I'm doing skill tests. It doesn't feel like I'm attacking, it feels like I'm trying to pass a skill test. There are things to be said positively about this game, and I do say those things in my review, but most of my experience with Altar Quest has been disappointing. And I like Street Masters, and it feels like it carries the same DNA, but whatever they didn't work for me in this system. I am fine moving on from Altar Quest. This is not even a hard choice for me, and that brings me to the next one, which is another new one over here, which is the Hunters A.D. 2114. I don't even know if I can turn this on its side. I don't think I can, because I think I'm missing the box. I'm missing this. I didn't put this on the component tray, so I can't. But the Hunters A.D. is another one that when I filmed the last video, and for context, there's like a 4-week gap between when I filmed the last video and I filmed this video, something like that, maybe 3-4 weeks, in which I've dove into Altar Quest and the Ghosts Betwixt us and the Hunters A.D. and possibly one other. I don't know. But either way, the Hunters A.D., I dove into this one as well, hoping to see if this one would work for me, as well as the fact there's an active Game Found campaign, or I should rephrase that, depending on when you watch this, there either is or was an active Game Found campaign for the sequel, the Hunters A.D. 14-something, more medieval. This game, but more medieval. And I don't know the differences. To be very clear, I don't know the differences. I don't know the streamlines. I still think the Hunters on Game Found looks cool. What I do know is that this particular system did not work for me either. Now, it's not as bad as the Altar Quest. To me, this is a 3 out of 5, not a 2.5. I like this one. I think it does some things that are really, really clever, but I think the amount of work, first of all, rulebook's also bad. I think it's really not cohesive as far as giving you a good sense of the sequence of play. It's really, the information's all there, but it's obfuscated and not easy to get to. But then more than that, I think that the game system in the Hunters A.D. is sprawling. It's absolutely sprawling, and I found the setup, both of the full setup on the table. You want to keep this game set up on the table as you play through it, which I'm not going to do. But also, even in individual scenarios, you'll go on some random side quest and then pull out a card, and before you know it, you're setting up at a giant scenario. Not giant, but you're having a tedious, 8-minute setup of a scenario that's going to take you about 4.5 minutes to play, just so you can deal with the ramifications of some random side quest where had you chosen option B, you'd instead be drawing 1 armor token instead. I don't even think there are armor tokens. I'm just saying words at this point. But the idea there, it kind of made me not want to continue. The more I played it, the less I wanted to continue playing it. I think it is good. The actual gameplay, unlike Altar Quest, I think the actual gameplay to me is pretty good in the Hunters A.D., but there's too much work and maintenance to get to all those fun things, and so for me, it's one that's going away. Which brings us to Roleplay Adventures. This one, technically speaking, I am still 1 game left to go before I actually officially close up shop on this one. But with 1 game left to go, I'm going to officially close up shop on this one. I think I will then store it in my attic for when we inevitably get the expansion and dive into the expansion, because that will happen, I assume. But for right now, Roleplay Adventures, a great game. Very heavy game, too. But one that I'm fine moving on from because I have 1 game left to finish it. So that's more of a get-out-of-jail-free card. Also, we have Roleplay Adventures, Nephrath's Judgment, which is all boxed in there. I don't even need... Ooh. Maybe I should use this for my, oh. I should use this for my roll and write box. I've been wanting to get a roll and write box. Maybe this will become that. Maybe. We'll see. Anyways, moving on to what's next over here. Let's go ahead and move this down over here, because we can. I'm going to deal with the ramifications of these boxes shortly. And let's talk about the Crimson Scales. Oh my gosh. The Crimson Scales, both Trail of Ashes and Crimson Scales big box over here. Now this one, if you haven't heard about it, they're actually already doing another print run on the Crimson Scales. I probably did a video about that at some point. Don't know when, don't know how. But this is the Crimson Scales and Trail of Ashes. This is the fan-made expansion for Gloomhaven, and it's incredible. Like, it really genuinely is. The only reason I'm getting rid of this already, like I said before, with Gloomhaven, it's not that I don't want to play it, it's that I know that if I do play it, it'll 95% chance it's going to be together with Professor Meg. We do gameplays over on Camp Co-op, and we have an eventual theoretical plan that once we're done with Frosthaven, we dive into Crimson Scales. If that happens, we're going to have her copy already. She has us all, so I don't need to have it twice over, which is why this one's able to go away, only because of my get-out-of-jail cheating card of, well, you know, being able to play it with her, as opposed to having to hold on to my own copy. And also the fact that I did that means I get rid of Gloomhaven and Crimson Scale, free up like 2 giant Calyx cubbies full of gameplay space, rather than having duplicate systems, and passing that on to someone else who can enjoy it in the meantime. From there, we have Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon over here, and there's still some surprises to go, by the way, as far as games that weren't. There's 2 more game systems that were not in the last video, and yes, you can see one of them, but the other one you cannot yet. But we have Darkest Dungeon over here. This is also leaving. This one, like I said already, wasn't really a hard one for me. I played through the intros of this, and I thought it was fun, but I also wasn't compelled enough, and it was never one I backed in the first place. It's one that Mythic Games sent me. They have their own boatload of issues right now, and I think that Mythic Games, I have enough of a slight distaste in my mouth. I like the people there. I very much like the people there. But the whole system is so messy that, like, 6 Siege I'm still looking forward to, because 6 Siege is fantastic. But anything that I'm kind of midway on, Hell, The Last Saga, Anastyr, Monster Apocalypse, games that I was kind of looking forward to, I have a slightly dirty taste in my mouth just because of all the drama and situations around them, which makes it harder for me to simply look forward and be excited about them. And so Darkest Dungeon definitely falls into that camp of a game system that, even though I could potentially grow to like it more, with me not being in love with it after like 2 plays, I'm ready to just not bother with it instead because of all that there. Tainted Grail was a hard one. This was a recent one for me that I kind of, after doing my video, I was like, no, I'm holding on to Tainted Grail. I have Kings of Ruin coming, and I like Kings of Ruin enough that I want to dive into Tainted Grail, and I was thinking about it more, and I realized that I'd rather play a bunch of other things before Tainted Grail. I'd rather play Isis Vanguard. I'd rather play Skyrim. I'd rather play... I have more. I'm telling you, I have. Whenever I say these lists, I have more. But even if I don't have more, Isis Vanguard alone is enough of a giant behemoth of a game that I want to dive into, and I realize that Kings of Ruin does Tainted Grail better. So I could sit there and hold on to the FOMO part of me that says, you know what, let's play Tainted Grail, what's it called? The Fall of Avalon. Let's play the Fall of Avalon so that I have the whole story and everything. Or I could just play Tainted Grail, Kings of Ruin, and not bother diving into the original, and reluctantly, I think that's the thing that makes the most sense. I don't think I'm as compelled to... I'm even now having second thoughts. I'm having second thoughts. I don't know. Am I likely to pull out Tainted Grail? You see, again, this is where I look at the other campaign game experiences that I have, and I think that I prefer them. I think I should be strong. I think I should just get rid of Fall of Avalon and just play Kings of Ruin. That most people who have played both have kind of said Kings of Ruin is better. I think I should be strong. Fall of Avalon goes away. Not because I don't want to play it, but because Kings of Ruin is an improvement upon that system, and that should be a good reason to try that one instead of this one, and just save myself the time, because Lord knows I'm not going to play 500 hours of Tainted Grail. And with Kings of Ruin already being several hundred hours on its own, I don't need to have both. One should be enough. Hoplomachus Victorum. This is one that I'm kind of half cheating on as well. I said I'm putting this into the Level Up library. Level Up is a convention we're running in July 14th to 16th, and by putting this one into the Level Up Retreats library, I both maintain the fact that I own the game for down the road eventually, while also being able to get rid of it for the right now. So, because my main question mark is that they are supposedly putting out expansion content that will make the game less grindy as far as some of the downsides of it. So half cheating, again, similar to the roleplay adventures, kind of holding on to it for the potential future. But for right now, I'm ready to move on from Hoplomachus. I think it's great. I think other chip theory titles do it better, including the recent Elder Scrolls. It's a good game. I loved this when I first played it, but it got a little too grindy, and I need some changes before I dive into it again. And then the last surprise on the list, we have V-Sabotage. This one wasn't even on my radar for some reason. I don't know why, but V-Sabotage. It's not that I don't like this. I adore V-Sabotage, but every single time I think to myself whether I should play this, the only thing I want to play is Assassin's Creed instead. If anything, this game has cemented the fact that I don't think Assassin's Creed leaves my collection anytime soon. They actually have the Assassin's Creed Apocalypse expansion coming soon. That just made me even more excited to play Assassin's Creed. I think V-Commandos, or V-Sabotage, is a great system, and I just prefer the theme of Assassin's Creed with that system on it, such that I'm able to get rid of this giant stack of boxes with relatively little guilt in this video. The main one I have guilt about is Tainted Grail. I really want to play that game, but this, I have minor guilt about it. But ultimately, I'm just going to hold on to Assassin's Creed. Big, annoying box that it is such a good experience. Despite being a campaign, it's worth the campaign because it just, to me, it improves upon what V-Sabotage does. It gives me a better theme and slightly better gameplay within the same stealth-based system. And those are the 15 games. Those are the 15 games we're getting rid of from that last campaign games. Again, the 10 from that video plus 5 more added. We added V-Sabotage, we added Tainted Grail, we added Hunters A.D, we added Ultra Quest, and we added the Ghosts Betwixt us as on top of the original 10. That brings us to 15 giant big box experiences we're getting rid of. Although 1 or 2 of them are smaller boxes, but big box experiences. And until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you found this video useful. And as always, I hope you have a good one.